presentation today was going to be a little different than our normal South Baptist, Southern Baptist, and South Baptist prayer. So please join me in the lunchtime invitation. We are thankful for this day that you have given to us, for the blessings. And we appreciate the use of each day that comes to us. We pray for strength and guidance each day for our duties and challenges. May we be challenged to give our best always, with the assurance that your presence with us. Please now bless the food and use to prepare this and the rest of the afternoon.
So remember, I have some time that I have to make up for this morning. So while you guys eat, I do apologize. But while you guys eat, Margaret is going to deliver a couple of announcements, and then Felix is going to tell us about an exciting project coming up. And then Alison, Hussey, our guest speaker, is going to talk to us today about her Rotary journey and how it Rotary changed lives. Margaret?
Well, I'm doing a short interview. Am I right now? All right. Whatever. We'll get this done. So we have to make ourselves we are recommending, and I just need plug, you have some money that has come back from Alaska. Over $320 to our district, which is wonderful. Thank you, Pam. Because the Atlantic worked, and a lot of us didn't think we'd ever see that money, but it's come back. We're, as a district leadership, saying, please pay it forward. Whatever projects your club wants to do, or whatever your board decides to do, but we have added a third district project if you are interested in it. We will do a major publicity on it, but it's tiny houses for homeless vets. We have them in every community. Some of the band folks have agreed to give some of their money to that project. We got started 4 years ago there. I have met with district people in a lot of different districts who can do that. So that is coming. So please do not spend all that money until you check with us to see if you can get a speaker on this. Those, the homeless in our state, in our district, who served us well, deserve to maybe have a home. So we have a chance, because none of that money is controlled by Rotary, it's controlled by your clubs. And if you want to do brick and mortar with it, you can. So here's a project. May not want to give all that money, but a piece of it to the Homeless Vets Project. So that will be out there, and we'll be advertising it more. That's one thing. Okay, next. We have a district that has done some work on giving to polio in a fun way, and I have 2 people that are working on that, and I'm going to have Felix talk about it right quickly.
Felix Smith from the Perry Club. I'm assistant governor. And we're having a district bike ride. It's going to be a ride to end polio. All donations go to polio. It's a ride, not a race. Okay, so everybody can do it. We're going to have short rides, long rides from 8 miles. I keep dropping it down. Margaret, I said 12 strong, but Margaret says 6. Now we're up at 8. We haven't got all our routes done, but they're coming. It's going to be like a short one, 8, 12, 25, and 50. It's going to be on November the 3rd. The motto is Rotarians ride so others can walk. And like I said, it's going to be in Perry. You go to the Perry Rotary website. It's going to be a tab. You can go down to look at the details of the race. So get those bikes tuned up. When is this ride? When is it? November the 3rd. All right.
Okay, guys, I am not Felix. I cannot ride a bike in the open area, so I'm going to have a proposal for you, a lot nicer, which is going to be miles for polio for healthy living. So you can walk, you can run, you can bike, you can do whatever you would like to do. Get somebody to sponsor your miles, get somebody to, or just pay for your miles yourself. You know, after all, you're getting healthy living. And we're going to have 2 sessions. One, it starts on September 1st until December the 15th, and the second one, right after the holidays, is going to be January 1st until March the 15th. So if you guys are in, let me know if you want some more information. We'll be following by an email and flyer through the district. I hope that you guys join me.
Roland wants to know, can he take his golf cart?
I've already told him no. Somebody asked that question.
He actually can ride those miles for polio. Yes, Roland, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Is it true we can also ride miles at our local health club, maybe as a
Oh,
group?
absolutely. You can do spinning and everything else. And one of the fun things is that we are trying to coordinate with local fitness centers. So once a month during this time frame, you can actually go over there and have fun and just ride for polio that particular night. But absolutely. Thank you for the question.
Very good. I didn't think I could let Brigitte talk, and she did it in less than 2 minutes, so yay! But that's what the little signs are. We're gonna have those for everybody in the district that signs up. You can put it on your exercise bike at home, you can put it in your exercise bike at the gym, you can put it in your fitness center. I was talking to Leslie about it before, and she said, we'll just have, instead of cocktail night, the Big Time at Island Club, we'll meet at the Health and Fitness Center, put those little signs on the bike and get everybody to find, and maybe they'll go to cocktails afterwards, but
Or
options
during.
for everybody. But what we want people to know is polio's still there and we're this close, so we need to keep going. So I'm excited about this. And Mike and Steve have continued to do this for 3 years. So we'll have that initiative and we continue to do this. Okay, quickly on communications, and you'll know more about this when I visit your clubs, but we've worked for 3 years to try to get our district communications better. I apologize for emails that did not go out on Wednesdays, leading up to getting everybody here, and thank you for all coming. But we're gonna try to limit all emails in the district to Wednesday, so please open it. Now, I got a lot of feedback on the newsletter, and they did a great job trying to get it a little bit easier last year. We had a record number of people opening the email this last month. Like over 900 Rotarians opened the email. It will continue to be 6 bullets. Found out there's some national research that's saying people read 6 bullets and not 9 and not 2. So the next 11 will have 6 bullets. Now, part of this communication, so there are my cards on the table, I'm on the website, I'm in the club directory that hopefully you picked up for your club. If you didn't get one, I've already visited 12 clubs, they have the directory. So if you've already heard me talk, you don't need to pick up another one. Okay, so the information is on there. We are trying to make this district responsive to Rotarians' needs. Any suggestion you have to make us better, to be the inspiration in your community, your clubs, your lives, to make it easier to be a Rotarian, let me know. Let the club know, let any of the staff know, because we're all trying to make it better. As part of that, we have a new website. It is a work in progress. We're getting there. Somebody complained the other day that the 3 videos on it are all out of our eye, because we need your videos for your projects in your club. Send them to Brooke, she'll put them up. We ask your AGs when I'm visiting to send us pictures of your areas. So far we have had Perry, Macon, and Savannah on there. Give me your pictures. When I'm in your area, we want your pictures to be on that website. If you have a project, we want your pictures to be on that website. We can change them. We have an agreement within 24 hours and she gets a photo that works. We want to advertise what you're doing. We have Snapchat, Pinterest,
Twitter, Instagram.
Who knew we had a Pinterest account? We have all those things. So we want to use those things, especially with your younger members. So if you have something to go out, we can get it onto the district website on Pinterest and send it out to people. So use those websites, and we're trying to make it more friendly. Give us more ideas on the website and how we make it better. So we're continuing to do that. All right, club citations. They're not here today, but they're not here today because the club citations we had last year were great. We had really good participation, but this year we needed a club citation that worked on all platforms, and last year it wasn't very friendly to Apple products. So it has not been introduced yet. We got the glitch solved this week. There is nothing on there that you have to do for your club to get a citation that is due, except you had to send somebody to PET and you had to do your goals. Those 3 things are in there, which you were all supposed to do. The The other goals will be moved back to September 1st if there are things that we want you to do at the beginning of the year, so you have a little bit more leeway. It should be out and publicized within the next 2 weeks. It is user-friendly. I did it on my phone the other day, and I said, this is so easy. What's the glitch? I mean, are you getting good data? And actually, the people who are doing it are getting good data in the background. We've got a person from North Valdosta that helped in it, Eric Nesterhook from County County helped on it, and Renee, who was in Germany teaching, all did it in the last 2 weeks. So that's coming. All right, what else is on my list? That's it, since she moved me back from today. And now we get to listen to Alison.
Elizabeth, we forgot to mention the card.
Okay, somebody else, we talk about card? You talk about card, I might say the wrong thing.
We did this morning.
There's a card bucket on your table, please. Soft coins and coins are very appreciated. All money counts. There is a match for it. We're talking about Alzheimer's research, and unfortunately, y'all, many of us in this room might develop this, and I certainly hope if I do that they have a cure or something. So please remember the card bucket. Thank you.
We are just getting, I'm Elizabeth Harden. I am the District Rotary Foundation Chair, and we're still getting some of the numbers in and some of getting the recognitions process from last year, but we can announce the Blankenship Cup as we typically do here. Some of the clubs who are 100% E-rate clubs, 100% sustained member clubs, those banners have not been received from RI yet, but they will be coming. So I just wanted to let you know that. So, see if I can advance this. Okay, so the Blankenship Cup does recognize annual fund giving to the Rotary Foundation. Annual fund. It is in honor of Bill Blankenship, who was district governor in 06-07. This was introduced in the near future he was district governor, and then he passed away unexpectedly in the year he was immediate past district governor. And Keenan Kern introduced this award in his honor. And it's given to the club with the highest per capita giving to try to make it as fair as possible. And it is for the average 3 years, the rolling average 3 years to the foundation. Now, in lead up to that, we do want to recognize the clubs for this past year. Get my years right, 2017, 2018, the year that we just closed. We're going to recognize list the highest 5 clubs giving per capita. This is club contributions by the members. Starting with, in the 5th place for last year, the Macon Club. You can see that's $2.12.94, $2.94. In 4th place, Savannah East at $2.26. 3rd place, Millersville at $2.24. See how tight this is? It's a tight race. West Chatham Pooler at $3.40. And in 1st place, Glenville, $4.15. Okay, so that's for last year, the top 5 clubs. Now the Blankenship Cup. It's wedged in down here. Okay, I don't want anybody to see it yet. So we'll do it this way. Mark, do you want to award this? Or do you want me to do it? All right, I'll do it later. Okay, here we go. I promise I worked on the latest thing. Okay. So, past winners. Initially, Centerville had it for a couple of years. Savannah Sunrise took it for a year. And Sandersville has held it for the last 6 years. Ron May was devastated about this. I couldn't get him to bring it. He's in home in misery. Herschel, he said Herschel would bring it. Herschel brought it, and I thought I was never going to get it out of his hand. He didn't want to give it up. So, I just gave you something to say Sandersville did not keep it. Okay, so Sandersville did not keep it. At one 188. Milledgeville in 5th place for an average 3 years at 188. At 225, Savannah East. At 230, Sandersville, that's where they are. At 301, West Chatham Pooler. Okay, without further delay, at 320, Glenville. Everybody, the Glenville Club. Any representative from Glenville Club, please come forward. For in the district newsletter, starting monthly, we're going to start sending out a monthly contribution report. It's clubs and members. It lists the club, the total amount towards the annual fund and other funds, which is probably your Polio Plus. Be on the lookout for that. We didn't send it this month because it will always be 1 month in arrears on the data that we'll be sending. We thought it would be helpful for you to have some idea about where your club stands and how you stand in proportion to everybody else. Information is power. Thank you.
Now my pleasure to introduce a fellow graduate of my alma mater, Wesleyan College, Alison Charney Hussey. She agreed to drive 7 hours to be here today and to drive another 7 hours home today to share with us how Rotary has empowered her to change the world. Part of me could think that Alison did this because I asked her, but part of me also knows that Alison did this because she believes in the power of Rotary and is a living example of how to be the inspiration. In 1992, the Rotary Club of Cape Coral in Florida sponsored Alison as an ambassadorial scholar to the University of Melbourne in Australia. After returning home, Alison joined the Rotary Club of LaBelle, Florida in 1998. Now a member of the Rotary Club of Cape Coral, Alison is the District 6960 membership chair and is also an assistant governor. Along her Rotary path, Alison has served many roles in her club and in her district. She is a major donor, a Paul Harris Society member, a benefactor, a Bequest Society member, and a member of the Rotary Foundation alumni. Alison, thank you for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Please help me in welcoming her to the stage.
Hey.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I did drive a long way, and I will tell you that right turn to come here felt really weird because I just felt like I should continue driving to Macon, right? I'm thrilled to be at a district assembly because there's so many of you that are growing your clubs and embracing the change that you can be with Rotary. And so thank you so much for having me. And I'm not lost. This is almost a second home to me. I spent 7 years of my life in Macon. And so when Ann asked me to speak, well, let's see. How do I advance? Oh, there. I dug out the yearbooks. And I dug out the yearbooks. But then I remembered that we were thought I'd save y'all from the South Georgia big hair. We have really big bangs. Are there any other fellow Wesleyans in the room? All right. Anybody lucky enough to be married to, parent of, related to in some way? All right. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. My Rotary journey began at Wesleyan. And, here I was, a young girl, embarking on my college career, my future career. And one of the things that I knew that I wanted to do, and I'll share with you that my mother is English, so whenever I say Macon, she just cringes. But I do say tomato, so I think it offsets. But I knew that I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to go and study in London, of course. And so that was kind of the plan. And so one day I went to my Wesleyan mailbox, because there was no internet and email back then. And I opened it, and there was a letter from my mother with a clipping from a local newspaper, our hometown newspaper. And it said, "Interested in studying abroad, contact Paul Sanborn." And my mother in a big Sharpie had written, "Call him." And so I did, and I arranged for an interview, and I met Paul Sanborn, I think over spring break. And he deemed me worthy enough to be the Cape Coral Rotary candidate for the Ambassadorial Scholarship Program. And how many longtime Rotary members do I have? Who knows what the Ambassadorial Scholarship Program is? Okay. For those of you that don't know, it was an awesome program. And it was kind of the precursor to the Global Grant Scholarship Program. But it paid for a student to study abroad. It paid for their tuition, their room, their board, their books, their transportation. It was one of those, holy cow, this is a really awesome scholarship. And so when I was home that summer, my dad drove me up for my interview. It was about an hour north of Fort Myers. And I walked into the room, the boardroom, and all of these old white men were sitting there, and I sat at the end of the table. And I gave my interview to be the candidate for District 6960. And when we were driving home, now my dad had come in, right? I was too nervous to drive. So my dad had come in, and so he ate the coffee, or ate the donuts and drank the coffee while I was interviewing. So he met the candidate before me, and he met the candidate after me. And so on the way home, I turned to him and I said, "Daddy, I don't think I got it." He said, "Darling, I don't think you did either." Such a supportive man, I thought. He said, "But there's always next year, and darn it, we really would have hoped you gotten it, because I don't know how we're going to afford for you to go to London." Well, lo and behold, it came to pass the next day was also his birthday and Father's Day, and I got the call and said, "You've been selected as District 6960's Rotary Ambassadorial Scholar." And I immediately hung up the phone after calmly saying, "Thank you very much, that sounds wonderful. I'm really looking forward to it." And then I did that all around the kitchen. So I waited, and the Rotary Foundation trustees, now the purpose of the Ambassadorial Scholarship Program was to create pockets of peace, right? They didn't send everybody to London and Paris and New York and Washington, D.C. and, where all the kids want to go. They chose for you where you were going to go. So I ended up in Melbourne. Am I doing it right? Yeah, I'm not doing it right. No, I went backwards. Oh, there we go. So I ended up in Melbourne. Now I'm much younger and much thinner. But it was a great experience. And so in 1992, I embarked on my Rotary journey. And so I involved myself in things and projects, and we got involved. There were other ambassadorial scholars that were there, and we did things together. And I experienced the wild side. that I still am in touch with today. This is the Cook family that hosted me in Tasmania when I went down for a visit. And we're still in contact today. And those little kids that they had back then are now, functioning adults making money in the real world, and it makes me feel really old. But I've been able to see them a couple of times since. So it was a wonderful experience, and I came back, and this man, Paul Sanborn, said to me, "Great job, Allison. Really looking forward to when you join Rotary." I was a senior in college. Now, Rotaract was involved back then, but I didn't really know about it, and I don't think that the Rotary Club of Cape Coral was all that involved in it. So it was just really looking forward to when you join Rotary. Okay. Well, I finished law school, and I came home, and I started practicing law in LaBelle, Florida, which is just east of Fort Myers, Cape Coral area. It's kind of a small rural community. And my firm, the managing partner, said, "Allison, we expect you to get involved in the community." And I got a letter from Paul, and keep in mind, every Christmas, I got an Christmas card from Paul Sanborn and Millie, his wife, wishing me Merry Christmas and saying, "Really looking forward to when you join Rotary." Every Christmas. And when the announcement came out in the paper that I joined my firm and I was going to be in LaBelle, Paul sent me a congratulations note. Congratulations. Hope you join the local Rotary Club there. So when the firm said, "You should," I said, "I'm going to join Rotary." And I did. And the Rotary Club of LaBelle is a great club. If you have armadillos in your area and you need a fundraiser, let me know. I have a perfect fundraiser for you. They have armadillo races. And it was great. And sometimes I would go to the meeting and sometimes I wouldn't. More often not. Sometimes I would participate in the activities and sometimes I wouldn't. More often not. And so at some point, I transferred from the LaBelle office of my firm to the Cape Coral office of my firm. And of course, a notice in the paper. Allison is transferred to the Cape Coral office. And of course, I got a note from Paul. Really glad that you're in Cape Coral. Why don't you join me for breakfast? And so I did. And so the man who was my sponsor as an ambassadorial scholar became my sponsor of when I joined the Rotary Club of Cape Coral. Kind of serendipitous, right? So I would show up for meetings sometimes. And I would do some of the projects sometimes. I was a busy mom. I had a little kid who had sports activities, and there were lots of things that were on my plate that I wasn't always available to do. But Paul was always there. And then one day, in December, our club would have an auction. Everybody pull in stuff that they found in their closet, and we'd auction it off for some sort of a fundraiser. And it was meant to help you buy Christmas gifts. That was the guise. And somebody brought a bike. And I ended up riding the bike around our ballroom. People thought I was insane. I thought I was insane. But it got me noticed, and at that point, the president of the club said, "You know, girl, you've got some spunk. We think you need to be on the board." And so I did, because I was networking. I was doing the things that I was supposed to do, and so I joined the board. And so at some point over the years, I started going to more meetings. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. And I started doing more of the activities, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. So everybody talks about a Rotary moment, right? That Rotary moment when all of a sudden, aha, the heavens open, the sunbeam comes down on you, and you become a Rotarian, right? How many of you had that? Okay. Mine was more of a Rotary, dip your toe in the pool and kind of slowly work your way down into the deep end. because I want to. And so at some point, it came to pass that I became president of my Rotary Club. And it just so happens, the Rotary Club of Cape Coral sends the president-elect to the International Convention. Mine was in Australia. So my club has sent me twice now to Australia, once to Melbourne and once to Sydney. And it was wonderful. And it was there that I realized that Rotary, and although I had known this from my experience as an ambassadorial scholar, I realized that Rotary is more about what can you do not only for you, but what can you do for others. And hey, there are people in other countries doing the same thing that you're doing, right? So I met Sonny. Please don't ask me to say his last name. I have no idea how to pronounce it. He is an ophthalmologist from Nigeria, and he and I met on the Rotary train in Sydney. We're still friends. He was in the United States earlier this year. He said, Alison, I'm coming to the United States. I said, great. He said, I'd really like to see you when I'm there. I said, absolutely. When are you coming? He told me the dates. I said, I think I can make that work. Where are you going to be? He said, Houston, Texas. I said, I love you, Sonny, but that's a really long drive. But we're still friends, and when he has projects, he lets me know, and I help him find clubs that will fund projects for him in Nigeria. I met Evan Burrell in Sydney. He's the guy in the Vegemite costume. If anybody tries to get you to eat Vegemite, don't do it. Just say no. I'm helping you out. If you are in public image, like and become Evan's friend on Facebook, on Twitter, follow him. He is dynamic, and he is on the Rotary International Public Image Social Media Committee. He's fantastic. He's a lot of fun. After the Vegemite costume came the Superman costume, where you rip it open and there was the rotary wheel. I asked him if he was going to be a Mountie for Toronto, and he said no. But friends that I've made from all over the world. All right, this group of Germans I met in Atlanta. They call me their little American friend because honestly, every single one of them is 5'11" or taller. And at 5'3" and 5'8", the 5'8" counts. They became my friends. And so I saw them in Toronto, and I also saw them and will see them, and hopefully stay with them in Hamburg. Where else can you meet and enjoy people like this? This is in Toronto. Now, fun story. I signed up for a tour to go to Niagara Falls. I get in this bus of 6 people. The gentleman on the far left is my friend Ray from St. Thomas, who I met through Rotary. The other 2 gentlemen, Rolando is kind of crouched down, and that's his son. He is a Rotarian from the Philippines. And so by the end of the trip, the other two, the couple from Italy who were not Rotarians, Sarah turns to me and she says, how long have you guys known each other? I said, since 7:30 this morning. She said, I thought you had known each other for a lifetime. And I said, we will now. And we are friends. And lo and behold, we had a member of his Rotary Club as a visiting Rotarian to my club just a month ago. So we took a picture and I sent it to Rolando and said, look at this small world. Because we are a small world. It's a small world, and we can do things and help others in other areas of the country because of what we can do here and how we can partner with them. So next month I'll be in St. Croix because they are breaking ground on 2 community gardens that my club is their partner with on a global grant. We just built a community garden in Cape Coral. We think we got it pretty down. The rest of my club said, can we go to St. Croix and help them? And I said, I think we can. They said, great. And is there good rum there? And I said, of course there is. It's St. Croix. But I've also made friends in my own district and in my own state. All right? Now, he doesn't speak like he's from the United States, because he's not. He's Scottish. And if you've ever met George Burnett Robertson, you know what I'm talking about. And he'll tell you the 3 fingers, Jim. Or is it 2 fingers? But then they're split. 2 fingers? I've just stolen George's thunder. I have a friend who is a member of my district via India, who's teaching me how to meditate. I have my Rotary tribe. Anybody recognize the girl in the back? This is my Rotary tribe. These girls have gotten me through some tough times, and we've been there for each other. My friends are Rotarians. Aren't your friends Rotarians? If you have friends that aren't Rotarians, why are they not Rotarians? You're not asking the right question, which is, why don't you join me for breakfast? Why don't you join me for lunch? And so my Rotary journey is sometimes a paddle. And I've learned and I've gained so much. I've grown so much since I was that 19-year-old girl. And I've enjoyed every moment of it. But I realize that the Rotary motto of service above self isn't what I get from Rotary, right? I've gotten great things from Rotary, but it's a path. So one of the things that I know that my role is to help others. This is my friend Eric. I helped him, and he had always planned on doing this, but he is right now canoeing down the Mississippi River. Now, I don't mean like, oh, for fun. I mean from the source to the mouth. It's a 3-month trip, and he's doing it to raise money for Shelter Box. So look him up on your social media, Mississippi Expedition. He is visiting Rotary clubs the whole length down because Shelter Box and Rotary are partners. I had a member of my club come to me, and he's a knife and forker, and he said, Alison, I want to do things for Rotary, and you know I like to do race car driving, so I think we should have a Rotary race car. And I said, Tom, go for it. And so, lo and behold, we have a Rotary race car that does endurance drives, and it's so much fun, and I ended up in the pit. But I want to bring this back to Paul, right? Paul always said to me, I'm looking forward to when you join Rotary. And I love listening to District Governor Margaret this morning talking about all your Rotary youth programs. You in this district have some amazing Rotary youth programs, and it's wonderful that you guys have all of that. But are you connecting with your youth, and are you keeping in contact with them? These young ladies are grandchildren of 2 of my members. They love coming to Rotary. The one on the left, Ava, she comes in and she's our sergeant of arms when she's there. She collects more money than you would ever believe. We make our Rotary clubs a fun place for kids. The young lady on the right, Alison, she's going to rule the world one day. But she collects more money at our art festival for ending polio than any other person. Now, again, she's adorable, but she'll go up to somebody and say, would you like to make a donation to end polio? And they'll pull out $1. And she is smart as a whip. She will tell them how many children they just saved from polio. And more often than not, they dig in and they go, well, for $5, how many children will I save? And she, smart as a whip, tells them. And sometimes she even gets a 20. So engage your youth. Every time I talk to Ava, every time I talk to Alison, I talk about when they are going to be president of their Rotary Club. Rotary Youth Exchange. I don't know how involved you are in your district. This is Hilda from Sweden. She and I are still friends on Snapchat, and I am making sure that she remembers her Rotary experience. And whether it was just because we got our nails done and we made chocolate balls that I stuff from Sweden to make, we're doing it. Rotary Youth Exchange, RYLA, right? It's a scholarship. You're growing leaders. Are you talking to them later about, will you be a Rotarian? How can you be a Rotarian? When you are a Rotarian. Your Rotaract members can now be dual members. You should see how much they want to be involved. Am I right, Trash? Or Tarjay? And if you can't get them there, you can hog time. It's always fun. Make it fun. The kids will be there. Oh, I'm done. I am done. Please, 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 remember what Paul said to me and say it to your youth, right? When you're a Rotarian. When you become a Rotarian. All right, can we do it?
You can do it.
Let's do it.
We are Rotary.
Thank you very much, Alison. All right. We have another breakout session. So, is there anything that I need to do that I have forgotten? Okay, cool.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Day
Day to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear